I get money. I get money. You guys ever heard that one? 50 Cent, the rapper? Brings me back to 2002. Good times. Okay, so I checked out a video on Swiss francs just last week and was really interesting, and they probably have the most beautiful money that I've ever seen in my life. And I was just kind of more curious on money across Europe, so I did find this video, Secrets of the Euro. Now, this is about 5 years old, so I'm not sure if it's absolutely up to date. I'm not sure if the money has been redesigned since then. I would imagine probably not. Money's not something that you redesign too frequently, but yeah, this should just give me some more insights on the euro and all of the secrets of it. If it's your first time here, my name's Jacob. If you can't tell by the American accent, I'm an American, and let's just dive straight into this one.
Prior to 2002, most European countries had their own independent currencies. France had the French franc, Italy had the Italian lira, and Finland had the Finnish marker, to name just a few. It made trade and travel a lot more complicated, as you need.
It's been that frequent, 2002? Why? That blows my mind. I thought that the euro had been around way longer than that. I don't know. How old was I in 2002? 11 years old? Probably wasn't paying attention.
Needed to change your money for each different country, often incurring exchange rates, commissions, and fees. What's more, there was often vast disparity between the values of each currency. Whilst the Italian lira banknote stretched all the way up to 500,000, the highest denomination French franc was only 500. So if you were visiting one from the other, it would be very difficult to gauge how much you were actually spending. In practice, it was a nightmare. The case for a shared common currency was therefore an obvious one, and it was an idea that had been talked about and was being worked towards for decades. Without getting into the precise history, the euro as we know it was first introduced for non-cash transactions on New Year's Day 1999, and then the first banknotes and coins on New Year's Day 2002. The only countries that did not adopt the currency were Denmark and the United Kingdom, although there are several other EU countries who don't yet meet the economic criteria, but will make the change once they do. And since those first banknotes were launched in 2002, they've just finished releasing a new and updated series, which this video is going to take a look at.
Cool. I just thought of something because I know how much Europeans hate that we just refer to Europe as Europe, or we say we're going on a trip to Europe. And I've covered ad nauseum why we say it that way. The best argument for Americans is, well, you guys all are part of the European Union, or most of you, a lot of you are, and you share the same money. So you're Europe. Totally kidding. I know there's, much more to it. I'm just making a joke. It's all jokes, guys.
Now, I'm not going to get into any of the pros and cons of the currency, or any of the economic arguments or considerations. Instead, I'm going to approach the euro purely as a banknote collector, as someone who likes shiny and colourful objects with a cool story, not as a critic of the currency itself. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Now, normally I'd go through and talk about each banknote individually, but with the euro it makes much more sense to talk about them collectively. These new notes are known as the Europa series, and they are very much a series, with each denomination just a slight variant on the overall design.
Why are they called the Europa series? I feel like I've only heard Europa one time, and it's from a movie.
Like the previous series, the notes have retained their size, colour, and the theme of European architecture. The front of each denomination displays a window or doorway to represent openness and cooperation, whilst the reverse depicts a bridge, symbolising communication. The €5 sees a classical architecture style, the 10 Romanesque, the 20 Gothic, the 50 Renaissance, the 100 Baroque, and the 200 a 19th century iron and glass theme. The old 500 note had the theme of modern 20th century architecture, although has been discontinued and is slowly being removed from circulation.
We don't even have an image of it? Oh, come on. There's got to be an image out there. I know he's doing a fantastic job at his edit though, and like what he's done. So probably wasn't able to find one that was like clear enough that he could display into the video. He just drew it. Pretty cool.
Importantly though, none of the specific doorways, windows or bridges shown are real. They're fictional designs, intended to represent each of the original members, but without unfairly representing one more than the other. Also, like the previous series.
Yeah, I feel like if they put real bridges on there, what do you say, doorways, and they were from, how many bills do you have in total? Like 7, 8 bills? And it's like you're handpicking like 7 or 8 countries to be the only ones that are on the bills. It's kind of not fair. So I think fictional is a much better way to go.
Note features a map of Europe.
back.
Also, like the previous series, the reverse of each note features a map of Europe, although this time including Malta and Cyprus, who have both since joined the Eurozone, as well as a tiny section right in the bottom left to show the Canary Islands and some of France's territories. But that's about it for the similarities. So what exactly
Wait, did I see... Is the UK's on there, no? I mean, I guess it's part of Europe, but it's interesting. All the countries in Europe that aren't a part of the European Union and using the euro, they would be weird if they just had like a little section that was like blocked out and empty. They're like, you're not included.
Left to show the Canary Islands and some of France's territories. But that's about it for the similarities. So what exactly has changed? Well, the denomination in the bottom left has been replaced by one in green colour changing ink, making it difficult to replicate. And on the 100 and 200 notes, it even contains tiny euro symbols. There's also a larger holographic strip on the right, this time containing an image of Europa, a figure from Greek mythology after whom the continent was named. Europa can also be seen in the watermark of each note, alongside the denomination and piece of architecture, although admittedly it does kind of resemble a kid's drawing. In terms of other security features, both series are fairly similar. Obviously they all feature the Orion constellation, a group of 5 circles or donuts which can be detected by printers and computer software in order to prevent photocopying. This feature was included on banknotes in secret for many years, until a member of the public first detected it on a €10 note, hence the name and the fact that it sort of doesn't really resemble Orion. Under UV light, certain elements of the notes glow to indicate their authenticity, including the stars in the flag and the stars around the architecture, as well as...
If you're making counterfeit money nowadays, that is like a huge operation, like a huge undertaking. You got to have like holographic strips, blue, what do you say, blue light, you know, transparent, like, gosh, dude, I can't even imagine how hard it would be. And they can track that stuff so easily. What is that movie? Is it Catch Me If You Can? Have you guys ever seen that? He's an American, but he travels all over, and I think he makes counterfeit money in that movie. I'm pretty sure he does. I think he works for the FBI now too. What is it? Leonardo DiCaprio plays him? Anyway, I'm rambling.
Certain sections of the reverse. Tiny glowing flecks are also visible, something they purposely add into the paper, again to show their authenticity. But the new notes have added another really cool security feature in the form of these short diagonal lines on the edges of each note. If you fold the notes round to form a circle, they perfectly line up, indicating that the note is likely genuine, as counterfeiters can have difficulty being so precise with their printing. And these notes have introduced a microprint too, seen in the stars in the middle of the note. If you look extremely closely, you'll see the word Euro repeating in 3 different alphabets.
Holy cow, that's so nuts. That's so small. Let me go back when he was zoomed out. Yeah, you can't even notice it from there.
Notes have introduced a microprint too, seen in the stars in the middle of the note.
Hey, I have a question for you guys before we move forward a little bit more. Do you guys ever investigate your currency to like see what's on it? This is a thing that Americans do where they will literally take like a bill and go through it and fold it different ways. Like if you take, I think it's a $20 bill and you fold it just a specific way, it literally shows the 2 towers burning with like flames and like smoke coming out of one of them. It's pretty nuts. We used to do that when we were little. And then like there's an owl, a tiny little owl in the very corner of the bill. You have to literally look at it with a magnifying glass, and people associate it with the Owl of Moloch. Is it with Moloch? Can't remember.
If you look extremely closely, you'll see the word Euro repeating in 3 different alphabets. Again, something that counterfeiters cannot achieve with inexpensive printers. Yeah. And what is probably my favourite hidden feature? Each note is secretly a flag of Europe in disguise. How cool is that? However, having said all that, Europe, and what is probably my favourite hidden feature? Each note is secretly a flag of Europe in disguise. How cool is that? Each note
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I didn't even notice it until he said it. Now I can see it.
Is secretly a flag of Europe in disguise. How cool is that? However, having said all that, you'd be right to accuse these notes of being boring. They're deliberately plain and devoid of any personality. Europe is an exceptionally diverse continent, with the finest architecture on the planet, and yet they've opted for fictional designs.
It is a little a little plain. I mean, after I've seen the Swiss franc money, nothing compares now. Even my dollar bills look like
To
crap.
understand it, these banknotes are used by an ever-increasing number of countries, and they can't be seen to favour certain ones. And where the banknotes fall short, the coins certainly deliver. The euro coins are arguably the coolest and most collectible in the world. Each country has their own designs, and they can therefore be much more personal. The Colosseum features on the Italian 5 cents, for example, and the Brandenburg Gate on the German 10. And even some countries that aren't EU members have their own coins, such as San Marino and Vatican City. In total, there are more...
Wait, am I having a stupid moment? If you're not a part of the European Union, you can still use the euro? I guess you can. I guess if people want to accept it, you can. Like if I go to Mexico, I can use the dollar, or pretty much anywhere in South America, you can just use the dollar. So
300 different designs across the different values and countries, making them an absolute dream for collectors. They most certainly make up for the lack of variation on the banknotes. But if that's still not enough, there are some euro banknotes that are decidedly more interesting. This is a €0, a souvenir note printed on real banknote paper, with real security features and authorised by the European Central Bank. It has a watermark, glows under UV light, and feels and looks exactly as you'd expect a real euro to.
I bet you anything this thing is actually worth more than zero because it's a collector's note. It's probably worth, I have no idea. I don't know how many of them they make.
Whilst this one features the atomium in Brussels, like the coins, there are literally hundreds of different designs. So whilst the euros themselves might be slightly dull, that's necessary. They're the second most traded currency in the world and represent such a vast population area. And though they might have sacrificed some infinitely more interesting notes in the process, we got some pretty cool coins out of it. And
I have to check something. He said it's the second most traded currency in the world. What is the first? I want to say, I don't think it's the dollar. I would imagine it's probably like the yen, maybe? It is the dollar. Okay. All right. I thought maybe it might have been something else.
Euro has undoubtedly made life a lot easier.
Oh, that was the end. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, if you guys enjoyed that video, hit the like button, and I'll have Half Asleep Chris's link down in the description below. He's got 4.06 million subscribers. Go show him some love. And with that, I'm gonna head out of here. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.